Hey everyone, this is Dez Loessberg with the Men of Magdalene, and I'm super excited about today's podcast episode. This is episode number 2, and our guest today is Joe Fioresi, who is actually one of the co-founders who started this whole journey with Exodus 90. So, Joe, why don't you introduce yourself, what your family situation is, and your what your connection is to the Men of Magdalene?
Awesome. Morning, Dez. Thanks for having me. Yes, my name is Joe Fioresi, 50 years old, married, father of 6, blended family, 3 from each side. And I've been a parishioner at St. Mary Magdalene since we moved here in 2005. So coming up on over 20 years at the church. And we just, we've been coming to the church since the beginning when it was at the school grounds in a cafeteria. So it's been awesome to be a part of the growth into what it is now. And we were just seeking, like I said, further connection at the church with the men that were there, further involvement. And here we are sitting with a firefighter here in the community, right here in the Gilbert community, and just trying to make more connection with my family and myself, with the other men in the church and the other families in the church. So
That's awesome. So you're in Gilbert, you're a firefighter, you're a family man, you got a big family. You've been a part of the church since its earliest inception, which is opposite spectrum of where I've been. I just been going to the church for the last couple of years. So let me ask you this. Since you've been there since the beginning, the Men of Magdalene, this fraternity, this ministry, what is it that has been missing for the last 20 years that you feel like this ministry is going to serve?
it the biggest thing for me is that we have been in all the prior years. So you said 2 years. So for the prior 18 years that I was going to mass, I was just going to mass. And I feel like the others around were just doing that as well. Have little kids, super focused on keeping them quiet at church, not misbehaving. And we were just like, get in, get out. Like, we have to like check this box, go to church. Yay, we did our job. But what was happening is, like, kids getting older. And as I was getting more deeper in my faith, I was realizing that we weren't connecting at the church. We weren't doing our part. We weren't trying to make things better with our faith and with the church and the other men and families. We were just coming and going. The biggest thing with the Men of Magdalene I found in this short period of time, it's only been about really 4 months. And the energy level, the involvement, the connection with the other men at church, when you see them there before, during, and after, staying later at church, showing up earlier, doing things outside of church with the men. So when you see them, you're connected, introducing our wives to them, introducing our kids to each other. Whole different story than just coming and going and checking that box and going to mass. Cause that's not the calling that we have, is to just show up and go home.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And I felt the same way. I went to a different parish and I didn't feel connected with that parish. And one of my brothers, Michael Desiderio, who you'll all meet as well, brought me over to St. Mary Magdalene. And yeah, I felt connected to the church. I got involved, but I still didn't have that connection piece. And then you came forward with Exodus 90. I joined that. I got connected with you. And I let's just share with the guys what actually has already transpired with this ministry. And we'll talk about Thanksgiving Day. So I think I sent a text to the group saying, hey, let's go. Who wants to race? Well, let's go run a 5K. And what was really cool for me at the end of it, it wasn't the race. And by the way, you're super fast, but it wasn't the race itself. But afterwards, it was walking down in the Gilbert Shopping Center. Our wives were hanging out. The 4 of us were hanging out. We were joking. We took pictures together. And that was just a spur moment thing. And that's the connection that I am truly looking forward to. So you want to chat about that? Like, what is your vision? Is that what you're looking for? Or what do you expect in the future?
Yeah, that was definitely cool. It was a different way to start Thanksgiving. And yeah, it's, well, even the wall that they had, what are you thankful for on that wall? And we went up and wrote for the Men of Magdalene, where we've gotten to at this point. We're literally, like I said, 4 months since we kind of launched this whole thing that just kind of came up out of a need for just like have to do more. And now the development, the friendships that we've had, and the difference is people have different interests outside of their work, but when you're at church and there's other men out there that might be interested in something you are interested in, it could be like that. Like, I love running. So you said that. I was like, you know what? I'm free Thursday morning. I should go. If I don't go, it's because I'm just going to sleep in. or I'm afraid of Dez's, whatever outfit he's going to wear out there. But it was cool because then we weren't just there. There was also community out there. There was other people that we had met, like that my wife's had to know from her. She's a teacher from at school. There was students there, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool, you're here." And they were, so it was just what we do. It isn't just like you and me go and do that together. Then our wives meeting. It also meant like we went out in the community. We got to see other people in the community doing good things. You're out being healthy. You're out challenging yourself. Some people, what I mean, they were wearing like turkey outfits and just being high while they're running. It's like cool for you, like that. It's just cool to be out in the community and do things like that and realize that there's way more than just, you and your household. There's so many other people out there that we can connect with. And anyway, but
Yeah, no, and that you touched on a good point, which is the numbers, the community, like the call for people to be connected. And we have 68 men as of today. We were on a call earlier. 68 men raised their hands saying, "Yes, I'm interested in hearing more about the Men of Magdalene." We have our launch gathering January 9th. We have, I think, close to 40 men who RSVP'd for that as well. And so we're growing and we got some momentum. And yes, the 5K was just one example. And we're going to announce the other things that we have going and on the calendar here coming up at our launch gathering. So we want you to be there. We invite you, all men 18 and up. You don't have to be a parishioner or a family member or whatever. Just come see what we're about and potentially be a part of this. But let's close out with this. With those numbers and that community, and just like the 5K, seeing the community and connecting with other people, what are you envisioning in the future? Or what are you most excited about with this ministry?
I think just I say it all the time. And people laugh about it. I'm a big fan of the organic process of how things play out. Whenever I've scripted out what I think should happen, or I start getting ahead of myself with, "Oh, this is going to be great. We're going to do this. We're going to do this." I realize like God just tells me, "Hey, slow down and let this play out and pay attention to who's coming into your group. Pay attention to the needs of the other men. Pay attention to strengths that other people have and be aware of the weaknesses that you have, that you shouldn't be pushing your agenda unless it's, good for if it's the right thing to do." Yeah. The beauty is we found like we met, Nick and I met, there was about 50 men that signed up from the initial time in August for the St. Michael's Lent. And pretty much I'd say it's 50% maintained throughout the whole process, which to me, I mean, like I said, it's organic. I'm not going to get caught up. If three people stay, three people is better than zero. Nick and I started together. It was just us two holding each other accountable and interacting with each other and praying with each other and, getting out and going on rucks together, going on runs, just chatting after a rough day of work or family stuff. And then we realized like as getting the more people that we had, there was just more strength in that. More people that have more life experience, more people that have a different ear to listen to you, different advice to give you, or different event to go do to get you away from what was bothering you. But now with this, here we are 4 months later. I believe those 20 or 25 are here. And then now we've potentially added another, 40 guys. And that's just the culmination of it's working, right? What we're doing, connecting men, giving people outlets to be better, like an outlet to be like, "Hey, I'm not going to go, I don't want to go drink. So I'm going to call Dez and go for a run." And man, that is like, and then, or I'm going to go to Nick, we're going to go to adoration. I'm just going to say some prayers. I'm going to sit in silence for an hour. I'm going to process this and I'm going to go home in a different mindset. That's, to me, that's the organic stuff. I can't predict what people are going to need. Nobody knows exactly what I need right now. So when it comes, I just want to have an avenue, people that I know that I can go to, and I want to be there for others when they have something they need. I want to be the guy that they're like, "Hey, Joe might not know about this at all, but I do want to hear what he has to say. And I just want to go, you know, get his ear, give him my what I have going on and see what he thinks about it."
Mm.
That's the vision. And then from there, like I said, organic, man, it'll roll. I believe it will. And as long as we keep putting God in front and keep him involved the entire time, I have zero fear of where this will go. I think it's going to be awesome. So
Yeah, I love that. And the word that comes to mind in that is surrender, of course, faith as well. And so I love how you're going to let the Lord guide us in whatever avenue transpires in this or whatever grows from this. And we have our 3 different pillars, just to just point this out really quickly. Doesn't necessarily have to be Exodus 90. It doesn't have to be that faith pillar. We have a family pillar. We have a fellowship pillar, which is basically friendship. And so we're asking men to come as they are, wherever they are, in whatever pillar calls to them. And we're going to have all of it. And so January 9th is our launch gathering. We want to invite anyone and everyone from the parish to come out, see what we're about, take that next step, and then see what calls you from there. And I'll take the lead from you, Joe, in terms of letting it just take or transpire from there. So, Joe, from me to you, our friendship has been incredible. Our connection has been awesome. And I'm seeing the growth happen, to use your word, organically. And I'm excited for what the future brings. And so thank you, Joe, for spending time with us, and
Yeah.
podcast episode number 2. And we'll drop this to the men, and then we'll see everyone January 9th from 6 to 7:30 at the parish. Thanks, Joe.
All right. 3. Appreciate it, Dez. Take care, brother.